Welcome to Small and Supercharged Podmas, a series of chatty podcasts that were first broadcast as lives in the Small and Supercharged Facebook group on the run-up to Christmas. Each short podcast features a member of the mastermind group talking all about what they have got going on this Christmas. Listen, enjoy, screenshot, share to stories and share your support of these amazing small businesses. And equally, if you want to catch up with some lives, we have got them running all throughout December over in the free Small and Supercharged Facebook group. Just search Small and Supercharged and you will find the Burgundy group. I hope you love them. And we are joined by Kelly, who has got an amazing surname, Ude-Martinez.
Ude-Martinez.
Oh,
nearly. It's not bad.
Every time. I got the last bit better.
Yeah.
Next time, I'm going to be amazing. Who is at the Kelbells over on Instagram and is also one of the Knights of Middle England and does lots of amazing things. So whilst people are joining Kelly, in case they don't know who you are, please do tell us a bit about you and what you do.
So I run the Knights of Middle England and we are a jousting and stunt show display team. We perform at shows and events all over the country, and we also have a residency at Warwick Castle where we can be seen at various times throughout the year doing our shows and other things. And then we also very uniquely have a sort of training school where you can come and learn all the very cool stuff that we do in our shows. You can come and learn jousting, horse archery, trick riding and side saddle at our base in Warwick.
And when you say you have a residency at Warwick Castle, what does that mean? How often can we see you? Like, what does it mean?
So it just means we're there sort of on a reasonably regular basis. So a lot of our shows that we do will be day shows or weekend events. We'll go to game fairs, county shows, other castles and country houses and things. But we are at Warwick Castle for the school summer holidays, 7 days a week, doing 2 shows a day. And then we do other bits on other times of the year as well. So we do things at Halloween. Sometimes we do things sort of earlier on in the spring and summer. So we're based there full time for the summer.
Wow. And what have you got coming up in the next kind of few weeks with Christmas in mind? Have you got any shows that you're doing anywhere, or how does it work? This time of year must be quite tricky. It's not the same as summer at all, is it?
No, so this is very much from a show point of view, the off season, unless you have a big indoor show. Obviously, the London International, I always call it Olympia, but it's not at Olympia anymore, is it? It's the London International because it's moved to the XL, but everyone knows what I mean when I say Olympia.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got like Olympia and indoor. Christmas shows need to be indoor shows in this country. So there's not a lot of them. It's not something as a country we sort of generally do a lot of. So our show season usually finishes around Halloween. So this time of year, we're more focused on teaching and being based back at home. And for the show horses, it's their downtime and they have a bit of a holiday and a break as well, which they need after a very busy summer.
Definitely.
So at the moment, however, we are, like everyone, gearing up for Christmas.
Yes.
And we do gift vouchers this time of year, which obviously are very popular Christmas presents.
Definitely. So when it comes to Christmas gifts, as you say, you do vouchers.
Yes.
So do people have to be good horse riders to come and have a go at some of the things that you have to offer? How does it work?
Not at all. So for our jousting experience day, we do a jousting experience day where you can literally be a knight for a day. It's like a day at night school and you learn all the skills you need to be a medieval knight. So you do sword fighting, longbow archery, and then obviously the jousting training on the horses as well. And those are open to all abilities. We have people who come who have never sat on a horse before. And They come and do the day. Now, obviously, if you do ride, you're like, oh, is it going to be quite slow and basic then? Not at all, because obviously we have a wide range of horses for all different abilities. So for those who already ride, it still puts your riding skills to the test, because obviously it's a very different thing to do on the back of a horse. But at the same time, because it is so different, actually, if you don't ride, well, you don't know any different other than riding with a 12-foot lance in your hand. And it's amazing for those people who aren't, perhaps don't have so much riding experience, having something to focus on and do, so having the lance and having to collect the rings or hit a target, it's amazing how their riding comes on, because they just, they're distracted from it and they just have to crack on and do it. And they'll only walk and trot as well. Obviously, we're not going to send a beginner rider off at a flat out gallop. But if you can ride, then we have different horses that you'll ride, and obviously be doing things at the faster speeds as well. So our jousting experience days are available to all. You can come and have a horse archery experience without any previous riding experience as well. Again, it's just a completely different way of riding and doing things. It's slower, obviously. We take it gradually.
You need to tell us how this whole horse archery thing works, because when I saw you in action on photographs and videos, it blew my tiny mind a bit.
So obviously you've got a bow in one hand and arrows in the other, so there's no holding on to the reins. So usually, when you're training, if you were to come for a lesson, we set up a corridor and the horses are trained to run down that corridor so that they run in a straight line. They're trained that they go at the start, they stop at the end, and they go however fast you want them to go. If you want them to walk, trot, canter, they'll only go at that speed that you ask of them. And then you focus on shooting targets that are off to the side of you and your horse.
I imagine that, as you say, your horses are so good, aren't they? I know, because us mere mortals who need all of our hands to steer our horses, it sounds absolutely terrifying. We said these horses are specifically trained for this job.
They are, and we spend months, years training them to make sure they are really safe. They know their jobs absolutely inside out. They do it day in, day out. They've been doing it for years. They're the true stars of our shows and our school. They are incredible, our horses. They're very special.
So you can come and do, obviously, jousting, you said. You don't necessarily need an experience, but if you do, you just change the horse and do slightly different things.
Yeah.
Same with archery?
Yeah, same with the archery. If you were to come, and we get a lot of couples that come. So maybe one of them might be horsey, but the other one might not. And it means they can come together and do something together. We've had quite a lot of customers who've brought along their non-horsey husbands to kind of, and it's been they kind of go, oh no, I'm not interested in horse riding. But, when you tell them they can have a lance or a sword or a bow and arrow, suddenly they're a bit more keen to get involved. And we've had people, and it's inspired them to then take up riding, which is really nice.
Oh, wow.
So the trick riding, same for the trick riding, really. You don't, again, you're not riding a horse anywhere near in the same way you normally would when you're trick riding. So you can come and have a go. It doesn't matter what level of riding experience. And the same for the side saddle. We generally say it's good if you know how to walk and trot for the side saddle, just because you have a feel of a horse. But there's no reason why a non-rider couldn't come and have a lesson. In the same way, if you'd go to have a normal riding lesson for your very first lesson, you'd just be riding side saddle instead of astride. So we have different levels, but for all of our entry-level experiences, non-riders are more than welcome.
So what kind of information do you need if someone's looking to book an experience, whether they're looking to book it for a friend or for themselves? Because as I said on, when I speak to Claire Tuesday, I think we all need our own treats this year as well. I absolutely get presents for your loved ones. But I think after the last 2 crazy years, I think we need to treat ourselves a bit. So what information do you need when people are booking? And obviously, anyone who's watching, any questions you want, pop them in the comments.
So vouchers are available through our website shop, and you can just go buy a voucher, and that voucher is valid for 11 months. So you can keep it for yourself, you can give it as a gift, and then use it when suits you. Obviously for Christmas presents, then, they can book it then in the new year after Christmas. Different activities obviously have different weight limits, but that's all listed. So then when it comes to booking in, we ask for people's height, weight, and level of riding experience, just so we can make sure that they're allocated a suitable horse. But otherwise, everyone is welcome. We're very inclusive.
I love that. And as you say, some people, it's obviously a great thing to go and do these things because it's just nice to do. But I know you also work with more kind of professional or more serious riders. And I don't mean that that people aren't serious, but riders who are very experienced in specific sports to help them in other ways, don't you?
Yes. So we train, in the disciplines that we offer, we train sort of from literally first time experience up to training people to a professional level where they can work in our industry. So we'll train people to joust who can then go on and joust in shows and displays. We'll train trick riders up to professional level where they're performing in shows. We train competitive level horse archers. So horse archery runs in this country as a sport. So it's a competitive sport that you can compete in. And obviously the same with the side saddle, that, dressage, showing, people who want to learn to jump, go hunting side saddle, that kind of thing. So we train literally across the board from all levels. But I do have some professional level riders who come from other disciplines who train not because they want to be, say, for example, a professional trick rider, but they come and have trick riding lessons to help their confidence and their balance on the horse, because they find when they're going cross country, if, say they're jumping a big fence and a horse perhaps leaves a leg or, that slips on landing, they've got the confidence where perhaps they're thrown out of balance or slightly out the saddle. They then have that confidence to right themselves and perhaps save a fall, where in a different situation or previously before some of this sort of cross-discipline training, they might have fallen off.
That's such a good idea. Because again, we sort of see jousting and trick riding and kind of, that'd be fun to do, but I'm really focusing on this.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a really good crossover there that can be incredibly useful in normal horse life too.
Absolutely. The horse archery and the jousting, the way you ride the horse, you're very much riding with your seat, your legs, your body weight, and that's really good training for riding in all disciplines. Remembering that you don't just ride your horse with your hands and your feet, that you've got your whole body. And obviously when you're riding down an archery run, shooting arrows, there's a lot you can still do with your body and your legs to control the speed and direction of your horse when you don't have the reins. And it's really opens people's eyes to that outside of sort of a traditional training environment.
No, definitely. Someone, I don't know who it is, I'm sorry, it's not showing me, that says, I'd love to do horse archery. It does sound awesome. And Di says, I'll come defo. I did gym and ballet for 15 years. Sign me up. Could get a group.
Well, there we go then.
Really exciting. So as you say, people can book through through your website.
Website, yeah.
And do they have to, when they book, choose a specific sport, or can they book a voucher and people can choose? How does that work?
So we do discipline-specific vouchers. So you can buy a horse archery lesson, a jousting experience day, a jousting lesson, a trick riding lesson, a side saddle lesson. But we also do monetary vouchers of different values. So we do £10, £50 or £100 options for vouchers as well, which sort of covers across the sort of price points of the different sessions. So it's really good as well. We get a lot of people who want to come, and then they'll ask their family and friends, and we'll get perhaps they'll come to us then to book a lesson next year, and 5 different people will have bought them a £10 voucher, so they can add them up and put them towards lessons and training. So you can buy a monetary voucher or a discipline specific one.
That's a really good idea. If you know somebody would like to have a go, but they've mentioned they like lots of different things, it can be difficult to decide which one to go for, can't it?
Yeah, and it means, well, if you perhaps want to gift someone, but you can't afford to buy them the whole thing, you can give them something towards it.
Yeah, absolutely. So how much do the different sessions cost? Do they have a different cost depending on what you do, or is it for like a time? How does that work?
Yeah, so the different disciplines have different costs. So our jousting experience day is obviously a full day experience, and that's £165 per person for the day.
That's amazing for a whole day. That's really good value, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's one of our most expensive options. And then depending on, so we do group sessions, private sessions, different length things, but on average, or horse archery lessons, usually about £60. Trick riding lessons are between 60 to 80, depending on the session. And side saddle lessons are £45.
It's really good value. And it's I think, again, I've seen a real trend in some cases, people moving away from kind of stuff and more towards experiences. Again, I feel like as being kind of contained for so long has made people really appreciate these experiences that kind of live on in your head for much longer. Are you seeing a trend for that as well?
Definitely. And it's something that I personally really believe in as well. I personally would always rather buy someone something meaningful or an experience or something that means spending time with people, whether that's things like theatre trips or things like that, rather than something. And I think, like you say, especially after COVID, everyone is so keen to get out and about and be out doing things. We are definitely seeing a trend going more to experiences rather than sort of gifts. And I think the equestrian market, especially, if you've got a friend or a family member who has a horse, but you're not a horsey person, you don't necessarily, you wouldn't understand or know what to buy that person for their horse or what they do, where it's an opportunity to give them a gift of something else that they can do.
You can even go along with them and watch, I assume.
Absolutely, yeah. As I was just about to say, spectators are always more than welcome as well. So, you can come and buy them an experience and come and watch as well. Or come and do it with them, because our experiences are open to all levels.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And then you can make a kind of day of it, can't you? Go for a nice lunch afterwards. And yeah, again, I think that time with people is just so important. And more than ever, it's been brought into sharp focus. Bless the situation. Is there anything else that you have got going on around Christmas that you'd like to share, or anything else that you would like to share with us? And I will ask if anyone's got any questions at all for Kelly. I know we've got people watching, and I think whenever we do lives, we get the feedback. People are kind of go, "Oh God, it sounds really cool," but I think some people are a bit apprehensive, aren't they? Because it does, when you see the displays and people are like charging into each other at full pelt with a big lance, it does look absolutely terrifying. So they don't start off doing that.
No, and I think that's a big thing. Obviously, people see what we do and they go, "Oh my goodness, I would never be able to do that," or that's it's far too scary or far too dangerous. And that's not the case at all. Like, all our experiences, run from the ground up, all your lessons, all your training. As I said, we've got, a lot of people go, "Oh, I'd love to have a go at jousting, but my horse would never do it." We are not expecting you to come jousting on your own horse. You can do, we have a lot of people who come, particularly the side saddle and the horse archery, that they want to get into it with their own horses. And that is also absolutely possible. But yeah, we've got safe horses. You're only pushed to your own ability and your own level. And it's amazing what you can achieve. We get a lot of people come, they're very nervous, they're very worried about trying something different. The thought of riding, not holding onto the reins, potentially might scare a lot of people and put them off. But as I said, our horses are the true stars, and they are very lovely, very safe, take very good care of you. And if you ever thought that you might want to try something different one day, then I really recommend giving it a go, because it's not as scary as it might look when you see it done at a professional level.
I bet the buzz afterwards, though, is superb.
Definitely. Yeah.
Di says, "What's your fave, Kelly, if you could only ever do one again?"
Oh, that's a tricky question. Partly because part of the reason why I love what I do is I get to do so many different things. It would have to be a toss-up between jousting and horse archery. The jousting is where I started, and it's what I did first and what I've done for the longest. And it's what got me into this whole industry and this whole world. So I have a lot to be grateful for the jousting. And the jousting shows are really fun. But I do love the horse archery. The equipment's lighter. There's something just, you and your horse cantering, galloping down that run, bow and arrow. It's toss up between the two.
They're quite different. I feel like
they're all very different. It's very hard to choose. I could talk myself into each one of them being my favorite for various reasons.
Do you do events with the horse archery as well? I know you obviously do the jousting. Do you do events with horse archery too? Yes,
so the horse archery sometimes will feature in our shows, yes. Yeah.
If anyone has any questions, now is your moment. If not, can you tell us all the places where people can find you, follow you, and obviously reach out to you if they've got any questions? Because I know, again, it can be scary to book a kind of whole shiny new experience, but definitely reach out to Kelly and quiz her.
Yes, absolutely. So you can find us on Facebook, just search for Knights of Middle England. We are on Instagram at Knights of Middle England, and I'm at the Cowbells. And then our website is knightsofmiddleengland.com. Do keep an eye out on our social medias throughout Advent, as we may potentially have some little special offers coming up in the run up to Christmas too, with our Christmas vouchers. So if you are interested in thinking about a Christmas present for yourself or someone else, do come and find us on Instagram or Facebook, give us a follow, turn on your post notifications so you don't miss out, because they are going to be time sensitive offers.
We have got a question. I would also urge this person. Kelly was on the podcast. Oh God, when were you on the Small Supercharged podcast? Let's just say a few weeks ago. And we did cover a bit of this, but not all of it. And I'm going to let you answer it anyway. But for more information, go back to Kelly's podcast. But sorry if it's already been asked. Never apologise. How did you get started, Kelly? Did someone teach you? Was it the horses first, the jousting first, the reenactment side of it? What was the start of the passion?
So I got into it through the horses. And that's interesting. Talk about that. There's sort of two different sides to jousting, and there's the stunt performance side and there's the reenactment side. And we're very much on the stunt performance side. So we're not doing historically correct reenactment displays. We're about putting on a high energy, high octane, exciting stunt performance. So there's jousting, there's trick riding, there's fire, there's stunts, it's galloping horses, it's fast, it's a performance rather than a reenactment. So I have ridden horse all my life. I grew up coming through the pony club. I still event in my spare time, and was very much a competitive rider. The dream as a childhood was to be a professional event rider. So that I've come off track somewhere, but still. I discovered jousting, seeing it at a big agricultural show called the Royal Show. And I saw the Knights of Middle England performing there when I was in my late teens. I then actually, through playing polo, met Carl, who is now my husband. Long story, won't get into that one quite yet today. Through polo, and got involved with the Knights of Middle England. So very much through the horses side. And growing up as well as riding, I always loved performing and drama. I always did drama at school and was in all the school plays and things, and just discovered this world where horses and performing kind of blended together beautifully, and just found it really exciting. Having evented and done the show jumping, the dressage, all of that, there was this whole new world of all these exciting new disciplines. And I do love the variety of what I do. As a cop out to Di's question, I'm lucky that I don't have to choose which one, and I get to do all of them. I'm very proud to say I'm a jack of all and do a little bit of everything. But I love that variety, and it's what's kind of kept me here and loving what I do, is all the different things that I do get to do.
No, absolutely. Well, thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Kelly?
No, thank you very much for everyone for listening. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Ria. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. Thank you. I've been looking forward to this for ages.
If anyone does have any questions about anything, then do feel free to get in touch with us. Drop us a DM on social media, drop us an email. We are always here and really happy to answer people's questions about anything that we do.
And very, very friendly too. Again, I think that when you see people charging around in all the armour with weapons, you're a very friendly bunch. So definitely go.
We are, yes. Not as intimidating as we might sometimes look.
Not at all. Not at all. You don't take the lance around generally anyway, do you? You're just a normal person. Saw you at Your Horse Live, no metal at all.
No.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kelly. And thank you everyone who's watched. Do go and check out Kelly and the Knights of Middle England. Go and give them a follow. And if you go, let us know. Put it in the group. I want to see you lot doing horse archery, jousting, trick riding, all the things. Let us know how you get on. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been absolutely brilliant.
You're welcome. Thank you.